Say hi, Freckles. Morning, everybody. It's a 30-degree day, Thanksgiving weekend, and headed out to the archery range. That's part of my exercise in the morning. You know, with all this COVID and stuff, you can't be close to people. Weight training, you have to take reservations at the local pool to do lap swimming. So, get outside, walk, shoot. One of the today's topic though, isn't about exercise, it's about increasing the accuracy up close. There's something called the push that whenever my accuracy starts to deteriorate at close range, almost invariably it's because I find myself twisting the handle, torquing it's called, torquing the handle on release. I feel like the bow has to hold steady, and on release I let myself go. But there's a technique that you'll hear out there called the push, where the idea is that you're always pushing towards the target, and at the release you're pushing towards the target. And it's a way to regain your accuracy. We're going to go and practice, because yesterday I was kind of all over the bag at 30 meters. I mean, half my shots were kill shots and half of them were straying off. They would have been misses on a deer. You don't want to get lazy. What do they say in music? When you talk to musicians and stuff in orchestras, they say never practice your mistakes. So never try to go fast knowing you're not going to get the notes right. Go slow, get the notes perfect, and then work on your speed. Never practice your mistakes. So the minute I start seeing that kind of behavior show up in my shooting, that lack of accuracy, and yeah, it's cold, yeah, your fingers, all that stuff, it's time to go backwards. Not shooting long range today, as fun as that is. It's time to go back to shooting at the 30-meter bag, even the 20-meter bag. Let's go to the 20-meter bag, confirm what my 20-meter gap is on this new bow with 35-pound limbs, confirm the 20-meter gap, confirm the 10-meter interval gap, and then work on precision, working on regaining that precision so my groups fit inside a paper plate. That's what we're looking for, a paper serving plate. All right, we'll see you at the range in just a minute. Here's a quick test. We're at that 20-meter bag, and we're at what appears to be the 20-meter bag, and I'm about to go and actually sight in my fingers, calibrate them, if you will. That's a need for precision. Don't make assumptions about where that bag is. Go up and literally measure where it is. You can't afford to be off by even 1 meter when you're doing this. Glad I came out, because this is the 20-meter mark right here, and the bag is a full 2 meters behind it. That would have blown all of my calibrating. Okay, we're at 20 meters. And remember, in my string walking method, we're looking for two magical numbers. We're looking for the 20-meter gap. Again, that gap, sometimes it surprises me. Even the guys I think know string walking don't seem to get this. String walking is all about creating a difference, a gap between the knocking point of the arrow, which stays fixed, and the drawing point where your index finger is, that ultimately goes under your chin. So that by changing that gap, you are effectively changing the angle of the arrow. By changing the angle of the arrow, you're changing its range. That means it's a false assumption that a lot of people have, that the gap shooting exists only under the arrow. What you guys saw today was actually that gap can actually become negative. It can go over the top of the arrow, 2 fingers even, 3 fingers even, and you'll shoot out to about 130 meters, something like this on a 50-pound bow. So we need to learn what these gaps should be, these angles, these gaps between the knocking point and the drawing point of your finger, either above the arrow or below the arrow. We need to calibrate. And what I've shown you guys is that there's 2 numbers that you need to memorize, and then it's all easy. One of them is finding what's the gap for a 20-meter shot. Now I'm pretty sure right now it's 4 fingers, these 3 fingers plus my pinky, but I could go down 4 perfect fingers like that. Did you see how I did that? Let's try that one more time. The challenge you have with using your fingers is that these 3 fingers are actually remarkably similar in their width, but the pinky finger blows it all. So what you can do if you know you need a 4-finger gap is you go down here to 4 fingers, and now watch me, I'm going to slide, leave my thumb there and slide until my thumbnail is right at the top of that other finger, that ring finger, and then go down. And now I have a perfect 4-finger gap to go test. It's for ring fingers wide, not using that pinky. So you just take it out of play. Anyway, let's test it. We're going to try a 3-finger gap first, just to see that it goes high, and it should. I'm taking my thumbnail, the sharp edge of that thumbnail, placing it right on the edge right there of where the 3rd finger was, and then sliding the very top right here where I feel the pull is going to be. That's actually right where I put my index finger. 1 or 2 wraps makes a difference, guys. I'm going to aim right at the center of the yellow, and we're going to see. I'm expecting it to go a little high. I'm going to be working on my pushing my bow hand, pushing the web right towards the yellow of the target to try to prevent any rotation left or right. Actually not bad. 3 fingers gave a near perfect distance. Let's do it again, because you don't take the word of 1 single shot. We need to see a pattern before we make adjustments. 3 fingers. Yeah. The grouping starting, 3 fingers. I'm not surprised. It's a 35-pound bow. You guys know I draw from past videos. I draw back a full 2 extra inches, 4 pounds per inch. That's going to put me in 35, 40, it's like 45-pound range, and there's not a lot of difference between 45 and 50, which is where I'm usually pulling. My 50-pound bow 20-meter gap is 3 fingers, so they should be really quite similar. Gosh, this bow, these recurve limbs, I'm just pulling like this, super stretch. I may be pulling out to 33 inches right now for all I know. I should probably go and check that. It feels so good. 3-finger gap again. Yeah, that's looking like a 3-finger. That's looking like all my other bows. With the explanation being that I must be pulling even beyond 32 inches for from 28 to 31 and a half is my normal. 32, it might be 33 even. Pop that one a little left. 2 to go. 3-finger gap. Step 2, draw back under the chin. Step 3, look down the left edge of the string. 4, tip the arrow on the target. 5, small motion release, but pushing forward. Yeah, baby. I think I found my correction. Too much twanging and too much torquing and not enough pushing forward during my release. Nice to have that correction in hand. Last shot. Let's go take a look at them, guys. What we're talking about, what we're seeking here, this experiment is all about what's my 20-meter gap. and I see, with cold fingers, I see I'm kind of left and right, a lot of variance still. At 20 meters, I should be inside the blue on a good day, on a warm day. But height-wise, 4 out of 6 are within 2 inches of each other, just a hair above the yellow. Yeah, it looks like a 3-finger gap. Time to go shoot one more time. I'm going to pause, warm my fingers up. Freckles? Freckles? Freckles! Pooch! Freckles, come on! Hurry up! Come on! Run, dog! Yeah, you better run. I think I may have pushed the button twice. We just came up to the 20-meter target. This is my second round, and you'll see the groupings are starting to get tighter. They're staying inside the blue ring right there. A lot of consistency. I always have one stray. Ignore it. That's just me. I'm Mr. 5 out of 6. These are all nicely grouped. What they're really telling me is my 20-meter gap is indeed 3 full fingers. So the next thing we need to do is find out what the 10-meter interval gap is. So I'm going to roll this bag back 10 meters. I'm going to pause. Okay, there we did. Pushed it out to 30 meters. Next thing is to try that interval gap. Since the bow's already behaving like my 50-pounder, 45 to 50-pounder, I'm going to try a 1/2 finger 10-meter gap. So my 10 meters, my gap for 30 meters is going to be start at the 20-meter gap and then compensate, adjust for the new yardage. The new yardage means I need to tip up. That means the gap needs to narrow between the drawing point and the knocking point. It needs to change by 1/2 of a finger. It's now 2.5 fingers. Goes in the same place under the chin, so if it looked like this at 20, now it looks like this at 30. Let's give it a try. Freckles, come here. You have to bask in the sun over here, baby. Step 1, choose your gap. 2.5 fingers. I'm putting my nail down there right in the middle of my 3rd finger, sliding down. Step 2, draw back under your chin. Step 3, look down the left edge of the string. Step 4, tip there right on that target in the yellow. Step 5, small motion release. Yeah, not bad. A little left, but the distance looked lovely. Remember, find things to like about your shooting. This isn't work. This is something you enjoy doing. Second arrow, 2.5 finger gap. That was me like this, but distance still good. Third arrow. Remember me telling you guys that with the lower poundage bows, the lighter bows, they're actually less forgiving of your release. It has to be perfect because it's going to be the release that jerks you a little left, jerks you a little right. So the 60-pound bow that I shoot is it's more forgiving because it tears the string out of my fingers, but it's harder on my shoulder. I can't shoot as long. The lighter bow is less forgiving, but I could shoot it for hours. We're gonna learn how to do a better release is what we're going to do. 3 arrows left. Step 1, choose your gap, 2.5 fingers. Step 2, draw back under your chin. Step 3, look down the left edge of the string, meaning now I'm looking right over the top of the arrow. Step 4, tip the arrow right on that yellow. Step 5, small motion release. Not bad. 2 more. But I'm going to have to, this is going to be my last round. I've got to go and, I think I'm headed off to a Bass Pro Shop to see if they've got those little string silencers I want. 2 to go. Step 1, choose your gap, 2.5 fingers. That's a half finger. That's a 10 meter interval gap of 1/2 finger. Step 2, draw back under your chin. Step 3, look down the left edge of the string, meaning you're now looking right over the top of the arrow. Step 4, tip of the arrow right on that target. Step 5, small motion release. Talking too much and went left. I'm okay with that. Distance was good. Last arrow. Aim small, miss small. Aiming for the dead center. Step 1, choose your gap, 2.5 fingers. Step 2, draw back under your chin. Step 3, look down the left edge of the string. Step 4, tip of the arrow on the target. Step 5, just a hair high, but let's go see. I like those shots. A cold November morning, I got no problem with these. Freckles is over there trying to stay warm on the only dry grass in the whole facility. All the frost on the grass is starting to melt and it gets wet, and it's cold wet. All right, here we are, spreading out a little bit, but not horrible. Not horrible. The distance is what I'm looking for, guys. I can group them tighter in just when my hands start to warm up. It's a cold day. But those distances, they look fine. So what did we learn? We learned that the 20 meter gap on my bow, 20 meter gap is 3 fingers, 3 of these fingers, and the 10 meter interval gap is still 1/2 finger. Sighted the bow in, practiced the push a little bit, but still need more work. Tried shooting out there at 110 meters. Have yet to hear the thunk. I'll be back this afternoon. We're going to try again. Just got to warm up. It's so hard to do stuff when the tips of your fingers are literally frozen. This is Mark Vogt signing off. We'll see you out there.